Hey guys, Jeff here, and I'm at the church flip working on my plumbing for the laundry. Now it's a little intricate, but what I did notice is now that I'm looking at the Santa Flow system and trying to tie my plumbing together, I've made a mistake. I've actually put a 45-degree angle here, bringing my waistline out, which is difficult because I've got to add a sweeping 90 on a waistline because that's code for us. We can't just do a nice tight corner going across to the pump. So by the time I get that done, I am, wow, 7 inches off the wall. What I should have done is instead of putting this, I should have put this on right here at this joint. So my pipe would be nice close to the wall. So what I'm going to show you today is how to make the adjustment when you put the wrong fitting, how to remove it, and how to install the new fitting on the same little piece of pipe. Because under here, I've only got not even half an inch of space. So I don't want to take the chance of trying to cut this off. I've got to peel this off the existing pipe. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, first step, grab yourself a Sawzall with a metal blade. We're going to want to start cutting where the fitting ridge is exposed because remember the pipe is right inside all the way up to this edge. So we're going to try to just cut this loose and have a look. There's the pipe. This is the fitting. So what we want to do is remove the fitting from the pipe without damaging the pipe. Here's a little bit of surgery, okay? What I want to do is cut into the pipe. There, cut the fitting, but not the pipe. That section, and then another section. Okay, that's good. Pretty sure I got that all the way through. Yeah, that looks good. Is I'm going to try to use the chisel and break that piece away. It's not that difficult, okay? Remember when we were putting this on, we're using an ABS solvent. Now solvent bonds two things together, but it doesn't melt them into one. There's still two units. So you have the ability to work your way around here now. I might have to cut a couple more pieces. All that cracking you're hearing is the fitting coming loose. You see that off the pipe? Break another piece off. There we go. Take our chisel and we're just gonna pry it all off. All right, so now what we've done is we've exposed a good full inch of pipe, which means now I've got options. I can sand back a little bit of this solvent, the ridge that's here, and I can attach my fitting right there. If you try cutting right where that ridge is and your saw's on a bad angle, you might cut so far into this that now you're stuck. You have no more pipe left to connect to. That means you're opening the wall and increasing the scope of work. So when you're in a tight spot like that, remember, a couple of quick relief cuts, get a chisel and a hammer, and peel the fitting off the existing pipe. For now, let's just get on with putting on trim kits. There, washer and dryer box is done. It's nice to do the easy stuff first and get a little headway, right? Motivates you. If you start with the hardest thing, you're gonna get demotivated quick. Now we're gonna put on our dryer plug. This is actually kind of easy because it tells you right on the box what's what. This is the black and the red. This is gonna be the white, and that is gonna be the ground. So we're gonna put the ground wire on first. You see how this is working? You got 3 connections here. Over here, this is brass. Brass. This is the ground. So we're gonna connect the ground wire first, and then black, white, and red. Nice and easy. All we gotta do to do this, and don't worry, the power is off, okay? I have a habit of never connecting anything to the panel until after all of my connections are made. Then you just mitigate having a problem. Before we get started, I'm gonna pull out my wire strippers, and I am going to clean off 1 inch of that wire. There we go, for each of these other 3 colors. Let's get the prep work started before we have too much going on around here. Okay, there's the neutral. Now, there's my ground. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna back out these screws until they're flush on the housing. That makes room for the wire. You'll go nuts trying to push a thick wire into that tiny hole. Give yourself some space. Make this easy for yourself. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna get the ground wire on here. And I know it's probably easier to have a little more wire when you're working like this, but there's 2 sides of this coin. Having more wire also means that you've got to push all the extra wires in this box. And this thick gauge is hard enough to work with without having to complicate it by doing that. So we're gonna make sure that all of our wires are nicely tacked in. Now we're gonna use some decent force here, okay? This is not a time to have a loose connection. Now what you want to do you want to bend the wire right here coming off the top of this, okay? And to force that into the box. Okay, that way you've got that S-curve going on. Right, nice. Now we're gonna also remove all these screws because I don't like to work with so much wire that I can make the adjustments. I would rather add all my screws afterwards. Maybe these two we can do this way. Okay, here we go. Let's see. You slide those in. Okay, here we are. One, two, three, and four. Now, before I go any further, I want to just move some drywall or mud out of the way to identify the location of the screw for the mounting. Here it is. We're going to be using 20 amp plugs because I have a 20 amp wire. It's a little overkill, but because I'm putting the washer and the pump on the same circuit, I wanted to make sure we had lots of constant available power. And you can use 15 amp plugs on a 20 amp circuit, but if we're gonna do it, might as well just go to the 20. If a machine needs less power than what's available, it's still gonna work just fine. It's okay to up your plugs if you have a 20 amp supply. All right, let's go. The ground wire is connected inside the box. I've got lots of extra wire. Just gotta change out my bit on my drill. Now this is final location. I got way too much wire here. I'm just gonna cut off my excess. Okay, I'm gonna strip the black and the white. If you get a pair of these, you just look at the corresponding number. This is a 12-2 wire, so I'm the third hole in. 1, 2, and 3. And I want to get about 1.25 inches. I pinch it, little twist, and it pulls off. That cuts the sheathing without damaging the copper. Okay? I want to get one of those. Now, pinch the tip and put a curl on it. Corresponding other side. Same for the ground screw. So now, throw on the screw, tighten it in. Good. I was just checking to see if these 20 amps have the quick connection in the back. I'm glad they don't. I don't like that look. Okay, now, if you haven't seen one of these videos before, the wiring connections are simple. The neutral or the white wire is almost always on the same side as the ground. If you want to know a way to know the difference. Like, what's the difference between that side and that side? These are brass, those aren't. Brass and black go together, okay? That's all you need to know about this game. And there's 4 screws, so a circuit can come in and out, and that brass tab connects the circuit from one screw to the next. And that is pretty much the dynamics of residential wiring. If you understand that, you're pretty much ready to wire just about anything. Okay? Always take your wire down with your thumb and create an S. All right, that way it can collapse straight into the box and not up beside the screws. And then you set your screw into those little holes that the box gave you. All right. And then you want to collapse, come on baby, into the hole. Do an inspection, make sure you don't have any wires coming through the sides. And then you can just tighten up the screw. And we just take our cover plate and stick it on. And then before you screw it on, double check. Make sure that you can't see holes or damage. And if you do, go buy one of these. They're larger, they're wider and taller, and they can cover a multitude of mistakes. These are 50 cents, these are $2, but if you screw up, it's the best $2 you'll ever spend. Because that means you don't have to pull out the mud and then do the sanding and the patching and the priming and paint the whole wall again. If you're in a jam, consider using that cover plate. I keep them on me at all times, just in case I make a mistake and I wasn't aware. Things do tend to happen. This is actually, one of these is power to the box and the other one is power leaving this box. going to that other plug, because the electrical code says that I can have more than one plug on a circuit in a laundry room. I don't have to have just one plug for the laundry machine. It can be on a circuit. I can have 3 or 4 more plugs in the laundry room together, but only one circuit per laundry room. So in this case, we're gonna tighten up just a little bit, okay? We're gonna go with about 6 inches off the box. All right, and here's why. It's a lot more wires to jam in here. So I want to identify which one. This is the ground that's coming off. This is my power. I want to take this one to the receptacle, and this one just wanted to go to the box. Little information about grounding. When your wire comes in the box, you want to have it come out of right across the screw, behind the screw, and you want it to come right to the plug. That's overkill, and that's safe. This screw, this metal bracket, actually connects the ground, see that? Here to the screw to the box. So even if this wire doesn't go to the receptacle, it's grounded. Adding it to the receptacle is extra, but making sure that the ground continues means that this wire goes behind that screw, okay? It wouldn't hurt to have that all the way up and around. That guarantees that the wire that goes to the other box is also part of the grounding system. When you're getting your electrical inspected, inspectors are more interested with whether or not you've grounded everything than just about anything else. It's kind of a crucial element for fire safety. So now we've got this ready to go. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna strip them, we're gonna curl them. And now I'm showing this video because a lot of people wanna know there are a lot of jurisdictions where homeowners are allowed to do their own electrical. Still get your permit. And before you go ahead with something like this, make sure you're in one of those jurisdictions. I know that most of Europe, Australia, I don't think Florida allows you to do your own electrical, but there are lots of states and provinces in Canada, for instance, that do. So just make sure you qualify, give them a call, ask to open up a homeowner's permit. What you need to know is how many devices you're putting in. And that's electrical jargon for how many boxes. So every light switch, every receptacle, and they'll charge you a certain amount of money per device. The rough end for my laundry room was 68 bucks. They open the permit on the spot when you phone in. All right. I'm still old school. I like to pinch my wire shut on the other side of that screw. If I can get a hold of it. Okay, here we go. Ah, it's almost too easy, isn't it? Okay, so again, down and then up. A lot of wires. Create that S and then push it back. Tuck her in and put a cap on. Make sure you're going square to the wall so you don't cross thread the screw through, sorry. Because it's usually the box that also gets threaded up and it's hard to receive a screw again, so you can't just change out your plug. All right, nice. Now, I got some unique damage here, so I'm going to opt to go to the bigger plate just to make sure that it's pretty. And I'm old and I'm already on the ground and I don't want to have to get up just to get back here again. Here we go. All right. This is the larger plate. Doesn't look abnormal. All right, now onto the waste, the vent, and the drain. All right, so now we're just gonna go through the plumbing here. It looks really confusing right out of the gate, but what we need to know is we'll just follow the water, right? So we got water coming out over here for the shower. It's gonna come into the SaniFlow unit. And I've got discharge water coming out of here for the laundry. It's also going to go into the SaniFlow unit. This one, we're actually going to tee off and connect to the vent, okay? And this one has a fresh air vent system right here, and it's going to come up and over. And then I have the discharge. It starts like this. We're going to bring it up, put on our ball valve. That way it's all under pressure, and then we're going to start the slope over to connect over there by gravity. Nice and simple. So those are the connections that I've got to make. Working away across connecting all the water. My trick really is with this connection for the discharge. I want to try to make the discharge come up right here in between these two. Boom. And that keeps all my electrical open, and it should keep things nice and tidy. So I think I'm going to start with getting the first discharge pieces done. And the way this goes together, guys, it's really simple. They give you lots of these rubber gaskets. So you can go from 1.5 to 2, or 2 to 2, or whatever. You can seal up the ends with these, okay? Because right now this unit comes with just check valves. It's just a little bit of a rubber flap sitting there. Water goes in and it won't push back out. It seals itself off. It's so straightforward, it's not even funny. It comes with directions. Follow the pictures and you can't go wrong. Nice and easy. Now this one here is an actual check valve. The water only goes one direction. The gate opens when you put something in there and it closes behind itself on pressure. And it goes right into the unit right at the very beginning. So we can't go wrong. Crazy thing that I had to deal with today because of our supply chain issues. I couldn't get a PVC. Boy, oh boy. There we go. So this is a ball valve. Basically can shut it off. In the event that you have to do service on this unit, you want to have this as close to the bottom as you can get, just so you don't have a whole lot of water in the pipe, so that you can disengage here, lift this up, and it won't make too much of a mess. For now, we'll leave it open. It's not going to matter which way this goes in, so we'll install the handle so it goes from flat to open. Hopefully I can get it right about here. I'm going to start with the shower and we'll work our way going to the right. I have to cut this pipe back. Now I'm going to go counterclockwise on this same thing. There we go. Going to use a sweeping 90 to get this close to the ground. You know, I am going to get a final inspection here for my occupancy. And generally speaking, they like to see waste drains. 245s or at least a sweeping 90. Okay. All right, so now I've got my angle. I'm going to be directing this line towards that pipe. We want to get this 45 in here now. I'm going to go 3.5. Should have everything here. Okay. Just to make things easy. Put the fitting on first, and then I can put this one here. Always glue the fitting and the pipe, of course. There we go. Now that is the shortest distance that I can work with here. So now I've got the ability to line up my pump. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get a gear clamps out here, have a look at what our options are. We're gonna break this up into medium, small, and large. Most of these are 1.5s, a couple of 2s. Okay, so we're just gonna line up our clamp, tighten this on. There we go. Once you hear the drill start to gear up like that, you know you're good to go. Here's another gear clamp scenario here. Okay, I'll set that one up. If you're a homeowner and you're trying to put a bathroom somewhere, you don't want to open your floor, problem meets solution, right? This is plumbing for idiots. I mean, anybody can do this. If I get this on here, I'm not making that turn. I'm gonna have to put this valve on going up somewhere up here. All right, and that's fine. So let's do this. We're gonna finish connecting this pipe down over here then, 1.5 to 1.5, 2 to 1.5, I guess. Yeah, that's what that'll be. So this will be a 2-inch with the gear clamp. Here we go. Okay, obviously this comes so that it can be modified. This is a cap or it can be a connection. There we go. Don't be afraid to be a little creative if you need to be. Remember, the outside diameter of the pipe is what we're working with here. So this fitting is designed to go on the outside diameter of a 2-inch pipe. And that's what I'm bringing as my waste from the laundry. So if I gotta modify this little end gasket here, that'll work just fine. Here we go. There we are. Let's get that where it's accessible. Okay, of course, yeah, that's sealed up too. I'll cut this end off as well, and then I'll be ready to install the pipe. And we're gonna cut something short, just enough for a gear clamp on each side. We'll minimize our distance here. Great hack, guys, is use your cardboard for your drawing and as the place to catch all your drips on your adhesive. Okay. Now this should fit right over that pipe like a glove. It's just going to be easier to do it here. Yeah, get the ring on first. Here we go. Okay. Alrighty then. There we go. All right. So the connection now, shower, elbow, 45, Joint, done. This is the final resting location for this. That's our electrical. That'll work great. We are going to put a short 90 here. This is not a waste drain working under gravity. This one's under pressure. So we're okay to have 90-degree short fittings here because the line's under pressure. And that is my location where I want it. So we're gonna cut this pipe now, assuming that this is a fixed location. We're gonna go 3 inches. Mark with my thumb. Just trying to be careful not to get adhesive all over my new floor here. And if you're curious about how I'm installing vinyl flooring as a sheet roll, gonna be having that video in the bathroom series. You can check the video description for that link. Sheet vinyl is still a great option, especially in laundry and bathrooms in the house. You don't have to make everything look like it was in a design book. Just last week, you know, you can be practical and go with flooring that's gonna last 50 years. That's easy to install. Alrighty, now, I know, I'm gonna hear it in the comment section. What are you using that Teflon tape for there, Jeff? That's so thick, that's supposed to be for gas lines. I'm like, yep, but you know what? When you run out of the regular plumbing Teflon, this is a great solution to the problem. Now this fitting is 1.5 inch male thread. Every threaded fitting in North America has been exactly the same since they started plumbing in the very, very early ages. Okay, they've never changed the size of that thread, which makes it absolutely amazing. So if you have old pipes in your house and you're converting, all you gotta do is measure the size. That says 1 3/4 because the inside is 1.5. So all the measurements for plumbing are based on the inside dimension, not the outside dimension in this kind of a situation, okay? So this is a 1.5 inch thread for a 1.5 inch pipe. Everything that's on the shelf is gonna be listed for either 1 1/4, 1.5, or 2 inch, or 3 inch, or 4 inch, I guess. Too often you're gonna get into 4 inch unless you're going underneath your concrete. Okay. I'll use my vice grips here. All right, confirm my off is like that, so it'll function. I want it about this high, so I'm now dealing with about 8 inches. We're just gonna rotate that. We'll leave that there for now. This is a waistline. We're gonna be bringing it up and then a nice gentle slope back to this corner. So maybe the bottom of that pipe is 37.5. So we're gonna bring this one up to, I'm gonna go to 39 just because I know that this floor is lowering. All right, so 39 from 27.5, basically 11.5. All right. And because that fitting is so heavy, it's gonna just be awkward for the next couple minutes here. Here's the rest of my pipe extension. And we're gonna just put a regular 90 on this. We don't have to go with the sweeping 90 here. Again, this is all under pump until after the corner. And we're gonna go heading over in that general direction. This is temporary. We're gonna measure from inside the fitting to the end of this fitting. We're gonna find something easy to work with. 34, 33.5. It's gonna be really hard to accommodate, but 33 will be easy because I can move this. So let's go from the clean end, 33. If you haven't bought one of these yet, make sure you pick one up. Sure that if you go to our Amazon store, we'll have a link just in case you're not close to a Home Depot or the store where you like to shop and they're not carrying it. It is a lifesaver for residential plumbing. Okay. This one's more fixed, so I'm gonna start here. And then we'll connect that together. Beautiful. Just making sure I'm not level and I've got a downslope. Perfect. Anytime you see the bubble crossing that line, you know you got at least a 1 degree slope. So that crossing that line is perfect. All right, okay. This unit has to be vented, okay? Which is why we established this. That's what this is for. This is the vent for the unit. We're gonna have to go like this. Means of course I need 2 more of these things. So let's get this started. because there is a dryer here and the dryer duct is up here, I'm gonna be using a flexible dryer line to come over. I wanna try to keep all of this as close to the wall as I can. So my first piece of pipe that I'm gonna cut is going to be just so I can do the clamp. I'm gonna do a fitting. We're going to get this bad boy in here. Here we are. Not too aggressive, nice and subtle. That's not high enough. And we want to bring that over to this fitting to then go up the wall. Try here. Whenever you're cutting a pipe like this, if you add the fitting, and just think left to right. If it's too long, no problem, it's easy to fix, right? I'd rather cut a little bit long and try 2 or 3 times instead of cutting short. The other thing I can do, I can rotate like that. Okay, let's get our solvent working here. Okay, now that we're nice and close to the wall, we're gonna get a 1-inch piece so I can attach my coupling coming out of the pump over here. In these situations, you are going to get this stuff all over you. That's not a problem. I'm going to line that up. Okay, I'm going to just dry fit this for a second. It's going to take about a 1/2 inch off of this. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, we're going to just dry fit here so we can get our measurement. We're going to go with 8 1/4. We're going to be as precise as we can on that. Eight 3/8. Okay, let's do this. Is this my 8 3/8? Nope, that's the 7. Now we've got our waste in, we've got our connection for the waste out, and we've got our vent for this pump. Now the only thing left to do now is bring the waste over for our 2-inch series. Just before it goes into this pump, I'm venting this line as well, just to make sure that isn't going to have any issues with my inspection. Now this is what we call a bushing. For everybody out there who wants to know how to go from 2-inch to 1.5, you buy a bushing. It's the same 2-inch diameter on the outside, and then it becomes a 1.5-inch fitting for the pipe on the inside. That is a great solution to a lot of problems. We're gonna put that here. I need about a 2-inch piece of 2-inch pipe. Here we go. Well, that one works better than my 1.5. I'm gonna get that connected, and we can stick that in. We got one more 2-inch clamp around here somewhere. That is gonna be a serious problem. Oh, there it is. Oh, thank God.
There we go.
Okay, I thought I had enough. I'm like surprised there for a second. I was like, no. I was like, that would have been a trip to the store. Speaking of which, if you do run out or lose your gear clamps, they do sell these at the local hardware store on 1/2-inch increments and then 1-inch increments up, think after you get to 2 inches. Okay, there we are. Just remember when you're tightening that up, you're actually compressing on the pipe, which can bend and then snap. Don't think that, oh, I can get a little more out of it. It's not necessary, okay? We're just compressing rubber gasket up against an ABS pipe. Doesn't need a whole lot. Woohoo. So we're done connecting everything into here now. They do sell an alarm that you can actually attach in here as well. I don't have the alarm for this kit. It's gonna be out in the open and it's gonna be very visible. If it stops running, you'll know in a heartbeat because it'll overflow when you're doing your laundry. What I'm gonna suggest is get the alarm. I don't have it on me today to install, but according to the pictures, it's just a low box that sticks on the top. It says, hey, you've got a problem with your ejection pump, which could be a problem for your laundry. If the alarm goes off, you want to turn the laundry off right away too. It would be nice if the alarm was also connected to the laundry power so it could turn the machine off. I haven't yet talked to SantaFlow to see if we have a solution for that. Now, here's the vent for this one. We're gonna go with a 2-inch piece. That looked like reasonable. We'll dry fit that. See if that kind of lines up. Yeah, that's not terrible. Could be a little bit longer, to be honest. If you're not happy with something, fix it before you move forward. That's the basic rule of all renovation. Not happy, don't move forward. Be happy with what you just accomplished before you move on to the next step, or it is going to drive you nuts. You'll end up going backwards and doing everything twice. Okay, here we are. Now we're going to dry fit this and get a measurement inside to here. We're going to go 15.5. Here's why dry fitting is so valuable. Because you do have about 30 seconds to a minute before this solvent is not going to be useful to you. Okay, here we go. Here we are, done and done. Next up, just connect the waste. Here we go. That was temporary. We want to have that nice and tight. We're going to go with 1 inch. There we go. Now this next one is going to be tricky because that pipe has got a little bit of flexibility in it. We're going to go super sloppy on the solvent here, and we're going to turn it on with gentle pressure. Now, that's all we need now. Now, once I'm done with this plumbing, all we've got left now is to connect everything into the breaker box. 10 1/4 plus a half, 10 3/4. That is amazing. Put a few breakers on, power everything up, call for final inspection. I know, not every video is crazy sexy. Sometimes it's just good old practical advice. Seeing somebody do a solution that might be a little intimidating to you, make it look relatively easy. That's not such a bad thing, eh? Yeah. Last piece. If you like getting information like that, guys, give this video a thumbs up and let me know. Right, I'm happy to do the utility type content like this so that you can be empowered to take on bigger and bigger projects. Bottom line, with everything going on in this world, not only is it crazy expensive, but it's sometimes almost impossible to get someone to help you out. So you're better off to do all this stuff yourself. Okay, remember, DIY isn't just an option nowadays. In a lot of cases, it's the only option you've got. So be empowered, do it yourself. Cheers.